Welcome back to Sailing Trilleen, a shared story of the rehabilitation of an aged Vancouver 27 sailboat and of my own rehab too. Come along and enjoy the story.
So I'm about to hop across the Salient for another period of work on Trilleen. It's a journey that's becoming increasingly frequent as I grab a red funnel jet or the ferry across and then trundle down to the boatyard and see how Trilleen's doing and do some work on her myself.
We now move on and I'm painting inside the boat, finishing off the bottom of the battery compartment. So I'm not quite sure how much you'll be able to see in here. Probably mostly my large head. But I'm using Damberlin, white Damberlin, to create a nice clear background in this locker for what's going on, so that we can be sure that we know where all the electricity is going. Having a good clean paint finish in here really helps with that process. So on this plate, which I'm painting right now, a 290 amp hour AGM battery is going to sit. And that 290 AGM battery will provide, as a minimum, several days of energy independence for the boat without needing to worry about engine runs or anything like that. At least that's the theory. So what I've been doing here is painting the face side of the switch panel with some pre-coat undercoat. Technically it should probably have had a primer on it as well, but then it's going to have some black top black on top of this one, and then the cutouts for the switch panels can all get made straightforwardly in there. So after the journey over to the island, I've managed to squeeze half a day's work on Trilleen into the afternoon. I managed to put a primer, at least an undercoat, onto the switch panel, paint the inside of the battery bay, the part that hadn't been painted before, and paint some of the runners which will support the new lid for the battery compartment. Because we cut that locker open, made it bigger, it now needs a bigger lid. You see, everything you do has consequences, especially on a boat. So good morning. I'm down at Cowes Corinthian Yacht Club, and behind me are some of the boats that the Andrew Castle Foundation runs. Their sonars. We're hoping to take some of them out on the water today to take part in the Caos Corinthian Members Regatta, which runs today and tomorrow. It is a beautiful day, blue, very harsh blue actually, very bright. However, it's also quite windy and, more to the point, very gusty. So I don't know what it's going to be like outside the breakwater, but I do know that all the flags are broken straight and flying, which is usually a sign that the conditions are going to be interesting out there for a small keel boat. So it turns out that it was far too windy to go sailing today, and the racing was postponed or cancelled for today, actually abandoned, I think is the technical term. So we'll try again tomorrow. Don't know quite what will happen because the forecast is pretty similar. So instead I am going to carry on with some painting over here at Trilleen, and this is the second coat of Dan Boleyn going onto the hatch which protects the L2 electrical area where most of the switchgear, for example the inverter and so on, will be housed. So I'll get on with that and we'll see how it goes. So this paint has a vast amount of sediment in it, so you have to stir it up really carefully to get the best out of the product. Otherwise it just turns into a runny mess, and yeah, runny mess is not good. Hi, so I'm back at Caos Corinthian Yacht Club for the second morning of the Members Regatta. Wind's still quite gusty, and in particular it's quite gusty and head to wind coming out of the berth here. So because the sonars don't have engines, that can be quite tricky. So I think there's still some thinking going on, but we're hopeful that we might get out on the water today and get 2 races in, which would be absolutely fantastic. So I'm very pleased to say that I did actually get out sailing today, and now there's an aircraft flying overhead, which is not helping at all. Newcastle Foundation managed to get one of its sonars out onto the water this weekend for its 3rd shakedown sail. We had hoped to get one of the Foundation's boats racing with the Caos Corinthian Members Regatta, but the conditions proved too severe for us on the Saturday, too severe for any racing in fact on the Saturday, and on the Sunday the conditions were really still a bit fierce when the race boats got out. So we treated today as a 3rd shakedown sail. After a day spent sailing and waiting to sail and rigging the boat, I decided that I was in need of some nature and relaxation. So I've come over to the west coast of the Isle of Wight, between Gurnard and Egypt Point, and I am sitting watching the most gorgeous sunset over the ocean. See the sun setting over Dorset, and watching the shipping coming in and out, and just enjoying the proximity of the sea and the tide
and once again developing a feeling of oneness with the water.